While free agency has slowed down and a few players are still looking for a team, there have been players whose name has been thrown around in trade talks for some time now. New York is desperately trying to find a decent trade package for Carmelo Anthony to move on with their rebuild with their young roster. Kevin Love and Giannis Valanciunas have also been in trade rumors. Some teams are either trying to move a veteran to clear playing time for their young players or trying to make upgrades to their roster to be more competitive. I will discuss 3 trades that I believe should happen before the season starts on October 17th. The Chicago Bulls have said they're not going to automatically buy out Dwyane Wade's contract and will do what's best for the organization. In my first trade, I have the Bulls trading Wade to the Milwaukee Bucks for big man Greg Monroe and guard Rashad Vaughn. The main target for the Bulls in this trade is Vaughn, who has been a big disappointment for the Bucks after being drafted in the first round. As the Bulls go through a rebuild, adding another young player to evaluate is the best move. Rashad Vaughn has talent, and his play in this past summer league was encouraging. Greg Monroe most likely wouldn't play for the team and probably will be bought out. Instead of buying out Dwyane Wade, the Bulls get a young and talented guard out of it instead. D-Wade will be returning to the area where he played college ball at. I believe last year he was even entertaining the idea of signing with the Bucks in free agency. The Bucks could use a veteran player to help out their young talented team coming off the bench. The Bucks have an excellent projected starting lineup as of right now, and the Greek Freak is coming into his own and becoming a bona fide superstar. Adding more scoring off the bench could help catapult them forward towards challenging Cleveland and Boston for the Eastern Conference crown. It seems that Melo has been in trade rumors since the start of the new year. Most people believe that a trade to the Houston Rockets to join James Harden and Chris Paul is the obvious choice. But I don't see how it gets done, because not that many teams at this point want Ryan Anderson, not because he's not a good player, but teams either already have a player at power forward or a team is rebuilding and are not interested in adding an older player to their team. I believe the Knicks will end up trading Carmelo to the Cleveland Cavaliers in a 3-team trade where Kevin Love ends up in Detroit and Tobias Harris and Ish Smith go to New York. LeBron wants Melo on his team just as much as Chris Paul and James Harden. LeBron finally gets his guy on the squad to try to shake things up in Cleveland. Most people think Cleveland won't be actually getting better with swapping Love for Melo. Kevin Love had a hell of a year for the Cavaliers in the regular season, but didn't play well against the Warriors in the finals and was a non-factor. I believe Melo will be way more effective against the Warriors than Love. He's not the rebounder Love is, but is a better scorer in every way. New York will be getting a solid young forward in Tobias Harris. He's a good scorer and is still young at the age of 24. And Ish Smith can come in and be the starter for the short term, while Frank Ntilikina continue to develop and slowly get adjusted to the NBA level. The Pistons will be getting a big upgrade at the power forward spot in acquiring Kevin Love. Love and Drummond will be a nice combination in the front court. These guys are 2 of the best rebounders in the league. Putting an all-star level stretch 4 next to Andre Drummond could do wonders for the Detroit Pistons. With Avery Bradley added to the mix, the Pistons could definitely find their way back to the playoffs. LaMarcus Aldridge didn't have a good year for the Spurs last season. The Spurs were dangling him around the NBA draft, trying to receive a top draft pick. The Spurs want to get rid of him, and Aldridge apparently wants out. In my last trade, I have the Spurs trading Aldridge to Toronto for Giannis Valanciunas and Lucas Nogueira. Aldridge could be the missing piece the Raptors need to defeat Cleveland. Pairing him next to an athletic defensive player like Serge Ibaka is an interesting combo. Valanciunas is a good young player, but last year there were plenty of times the Raptors took him out and moved Ibaka to the 5 spot to stretch the defense. LaMarcus still can operate in the mid-post, but he also has the range to shoot it from the 3-point line. The Spurs will be getting a nice young big man who will be more featured in the offense and get more touches and opportunities to show what he can do. Does anybody doubt the Spurs could get the best out of Valanciunas? I believe the Spurs will consider going small at the 4 spot by putting Rudy Gay next to Valanciunas whenever he gets healthy. Lucas Nogueira has slowly gotten better and better every year and will be a solid addition as a defender for the Spurs, even though he wouldn't initially get a lot of playing time behind Valanciunas and Gasol, who reportedly will resign back with the Spurs.